Mike Green, the versatile cornerback who spent the last few seasons with the Houston Texans, has quietly become one of the more interesting names to watch in the NFL's secondary market. While he hasn't yet achieved star status, those who closely follow the league understand just how valuable a player like Green can be to a team that is on the verge of championship contention. His combination of athleticism, intelligence, and positional flexibility is rare, and now, as free agency winds down and teams reassess their needs following the NFL draft, a growing sense is building that the Detroit Lions could be a very serious landing spot for Green. It's not just wishful thinking either. The Lions' situation, their philosophy, and Green's specific skill set align almost perfectly, making a potential partnership both logical and exciting. Throughout his career in Houston, Mike Green showed steady growth year after year. Initially seen as more of a depth piece, he gradually worked his way into a bigger role thanks to his relentless work ethic, improving technique, and increasing ability to impact games in multiple ways. What makes Green stand out isn't just his physical traits. Though it's 6 feet 1 inch with good speed and fluid hips, he certainly checks the boxes. It's the mental side of his game. He processes routes quickly, anticipates throws, and rarely finds himself out of position. In today's NFL, where offenses are more dynamic and unpredictable than ever, having a corner who can not only cover but also think like a safety is an incredible asset. This is the kind of player Detroit desperately needs as they look to shore up a secondary that at times struggled to match up against elite passing attacks last season. Aaron Glenn's defensive system in Detroit puts a premium on versatility and toughness. He wants corners who aren't just locked into one specific role, but who can move around, adjust, and handle different challenges based on the week's opponent. Mike Green fits that mold to a T. In Houston, he was asked to shadow receivers outside the numbers, cover quicker slot receivers, and even drop back in certain zone concepts as a hybrid safety. He wasn't just serviceable in those roles, he excelled. That ability to adapt would give the Lions an invaluable tool to better match up against the NFC's top offenses, especially considering the variety of receiver types they'll face throughout the season. Culturally, too, Green seems tailor-made for what Dan Campbell is building in Detroit. Campbell has emphasized toughness, grit, and the idea of earning everything since the day he arrived. His players are expected to fight for every inch, play through pain, and bring relentless energy whether it's Week 1 or the NFC Championship. Mike Green's career journey, from late-round pick to established NFL contributor, mirrors that ethos. Nothing has been handed to him. He's had a battle for every opportunity, and that kind of background usually translates well in Detroit's locker room, where underdogs are celebrated, and every player is expected to contribute to the collective fight. There's also the financial aspect to consider, and it's another area where a Mike Green signing would make tremendous sense for Detroit. After investing heavily in other areas and extending key pieces of their core, the Lions are looking for value signings, players who can outperform their contracts without breaking the bank. Green, who is still ascending in many ways, offers the potential for exactly that kind of return on investment. He would come at a reasonable price compared to the top-tier corners on the market, and if his development continues on its current path, he could end up being one of the best bargains of the offseason. The timing couldn't be better either. The Lions are in win-now mode, but they are also building for sustainable success. They aren't just chasing one great season. They are trying to create a culture of excellence that lasts for years. Adding young veterans like Mike Green, players who can contribute immediately while also growing into leadership roles, is exactly how you build that kind of program. Green wouldn't just be a short-term fix. He could be a foundational piece for the next 3 to 5 years, helping mentor younger defensive backs while stabilizing the back end of the defense. Another key factor in why the Lions should pursue Green is the continued evolution of offensive schemes around the NFL. With teams deploying more 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, defenses are constantly being challenged to find defensive backs who can match up with a wide variety of skill sets. Green's versatility would allow Detroit to counter these modern offenses more effectively. His ability to seamlessly move between playing outside corner, slot corner, and even occasionally dropping into deeper zones would give Detroit's defensive coordinator more flexibility in disguising coverages and adjusting mid-game, a crucial advantage as the league continues to trend towards speed and space on offense. From Green's perspective, Detroit offers more than just a strategic fit. It offers a career-defining opportunity. In Houston, he was often overshadowed by bigger names or caught in the turbulence of a franchise trying to find its footing. In Detroit, however, he could emerge as a core player for a franchise that is gaining national respect and building legitimate championship aspirations. Being part of a team on the rise, one that plays in primetime slots and big playoff games, could elevate Green's visibility, potentially opening the door for individual accolades like a Pro Bowl nod or even All-Pro consideration if he continues to progress. Lastly, the emotional and motivational factors should not be overlooked. Players like Green, who have clawed their way up through hard work and determination, often find an extra gear when they join environments that appreciate and amplify those qualities. In Detroit, he would not only find a coaching staff that understands what he brings to the table, but also a fan base that thrives on passion, loyalty, and heart. The energy at Ford Field is electric, and for a player like Green, feeding off that crowd, knowing he's part of something special, could push his performance to even greater heights. Sometimes a fresh start in the right place is all a player needs to unlock the best version of himself. And for Mike Green, Detroit just might be that place. Of course, at this point, nothing is certain. There's been no official word from Green's camp or the Lions front office about ongoing negotiations. But the speculation is picking up for good reason. League insiders are connecting the dots, and it's easy to see why. The Lions have been aggressive all off-season, showing a clear commitment to addressing their weaknesses and surrounding their young stars with the right kind of complementary talent. A move for Mike Green would fit right into that pattern, smart, calculated, and focused on the bigger picture rather than flashy headlines. For Mike Green, Detroit would represent not just a chance to start, but a chance to play meaningful football at the highest level. To compete for division titles, playoff wins, and potentially even a Super Bowl. The Lions are no longer a rebuilding project. They are a legitimate force in the NFC, and they offer Green a platform to showcase his talents on a national stage. With the Lions' passionate fan base, primetime games, and growing respect around the league, Green could elevate his profile significantly, setting himself up for even bigger opportunities in the future, whether that be Pro Bowl recognition, endorsement deals, or future contract negotiations. Imagining Green in Detroit's secondary is easy. He would bring a physical presence in coverage, strong instincts against the run, and a level of mental toughness that would resonate throughout the defense. He could line up opposite the team's top corner, giving the Lions flexibility in how they deploy their coverage schemes. He could slide inside in nickel packages, helping the Lions handle shifty slot receivers that gave them trouble last year. He could even serve as an emergency option at free safety if injuries hit. His presence would make the entire unit better, not just because of his individual talent, but because of the ripple effect it would have on the depth chart, rotations, and game planning options. Ultimately, it comes down to this. The Lions are close. They are on the cusp of doing something special, and every move they make from here on out could be the difference between merely being good and becoming great. Signing Mike Green might not dominate sports talk shows or generate massive headlines, but when a season kicks off and the Lions are deep into the playoff hunt, it could be the kind of under-the-radar move that proves absolutely critical. Green has the talent, the mindset, and the motivation to thrive in Detroit, and the Lions have the opportunity, the need, and the environment to help him reach his full potential. It's a match that just makes sense. Now it's up to both sides to recognize it and make it happen.